Hi, my name is Neil, and today I'm going to show you how to make some minor adjustments to an oil-fed sewing machine. Okay, we're going to start first by showing you the timing. I'm going to turn the hand wheel the way the machine would rotate if you were sewing. Bring the needle bar butt to the bottom dead center, all the way down, and continue turning the hand wheel, and you'll have a timing mark on the needle bar, which is an 1/8 of an inch below this bushing here. I'm going to turn the hand wheel towards me, bring that mark up flush. At that point, the point of the hook, which is this piece right here that my screwdriver is touching, should be right in behind the needle. If it is not, you would loosen the screws, one there and one there on this particular machine. I'm going to turn the hand wheel again, bring the needle bar all the way down, continue turning till I bring that mark up flush on the needle bar. Then I would turn the hook one way or the other so that it's right in directly behind the needle, and there shouldn't be any play between the needle and that point. And if you're on at that point, then you take and gently turn the hand wheel enough that you can get out one of the screws, and then you tighten everything back up again. Tighten the second screw up, and then recheck our timing. Make sure we got it on. I'm bringing the needle bar down. Continue turning the hand wheel towards me till a second mark comes up to view on the needle bar. And as you can see, the point of the hook is right tight into the needle at that point. Okay, next I'm going to show you the timing mark on the needle bar and where to adjust the bar if that has moved on you. Again, we're going to come down all the way down bottom dead center. I was telling you about a mark which sits right here on this particular machine. Turn the hand wheel towards me and that mark comes up flush with the bushing, and then that's where you would do your timing. Let's say you've disturbed the needle bar in one way or the other. If you're not sure if it's been driven up or driven down, there would be another mark that you can see 1/8 of an inch above the one that you can see there, which is right flush against this bushing. If the bar's been driven up, all you would do is take your cover off, and you can get inside there and loosen this screw right here, and make sure that the driving link right there down at the bottom dead center. And I would adjust my needle bar up or down so I can see this second mark here would be flush with the bushing. And make sure to just turn the right way and snug it up, and that would be adjustment to the needle bar. Okay, next we're going to talk about feed dog adjustments, or the feeders. I'm going to bring the needle bar all the way up as far as it'll go, and at that point you should see your teeth of the feed dogs just sticking up through the plate slightly. If they're not, you tip your machine back, and you would follow across here to this screw right here, loosen this, and you would adjust this up or down so that your feed dogs are just sticking up through the plate. You just adjust them up, of course, if they get too high. Drop them back down. That's too much. Yeah, I just want them just so they're sticking up through the plate slightly. We're happy with that. Turn around and tighten this screw back up. Everything's good and tight. Next, we'll talk about the length of the adjustment from forward to back in your plate. Got my machine adjusted to the longest stitch length, and if I'm hitting in the front part of the needle plate or the back part of the needle plate, you have to move these feed dogs this way or that way. So in order to do that, you tip your machine back, And on this particular machine, some machines have 2 screws, one here, that you would loosen so that things would pivot this way or that way. In this case here, I've got to come across and loosen these 2 screws right here. And then I would adjust this whole system either forward or backwards so that the sweep and the free dogs come across to the front part of the plate, that they're not touching the plate on the front when they rise and in the back when they drop. So it's centered in the middle of the needle plate, and that's done with that 2 screws that I just showed you in the video. Okay, this step we're going to show how to adjust the pressure bar. Take the end cover off. We want to get our maximum lift. As you can see right here where my screwdriver is sitting, this is the block, and your lever pushes up against that, and of course lifts your foot up. If it comes down too far, then the foot doesn't come all the way down. So I'll loosen the screw off. Now you can see that the block is moving without the pressure bar. So I want to get the maximum lift with the pressure foot laying flat on the needle plate. I'm going to center it up with my needle, and then just move this lever just slightly so that I have a little bit of play when I tighten it back up, so that you can see a little bit of play in here where my screwdriver is sitting, and then you should be all set. That's your pressure foot adjustment. This step we're going to talk about belt tension adjustments. As you can see, the belt is fairly tight on this, and what happens is when you step on the pedal, the machine sometimes will take off like a scared cat, and to get it to run a little bit smoother, you just loosen your belt up a little bit more, almost so that they're touching. And to adjust this, you can go down underneath the table and loosen off these bolts here. I'm going to bring the motor up. Just grab my belt. As you can see, the motor's going up and down. I'm going to bring it up just a little bit more and then tighten the bottom nut. That loosens the belt off, just so that she's nice and loose. And that way when you turn your motor on, you step on the pedal, it's going to go nice and smooth. Very good variance there without taking off quick, fast. When you find it's too loose, it'll just squeal on you, and you just tighten it up just slightly. Now another adjustment on the motor would be to loosen this Allen key off here. Sometimes there's screws, sometimes there's an Allen key. You loosen this off. As you can see, there's a fair amount of play on this lever up and down because there's a cork clutch inside of here. And what happens after some period of time, it wears down, so you have to press down on your foot pedal further in order for it to engage in the motor. To adjust that, I would loosen this nut off here. Loosen it right off. I'm going to wind this bolt in. And that's just going to bring that clutch closer to the motor. And now you see very little play between the motor and the clutch there. You get it too close, then it just wants to run the machine constantly. You don't want to do that. You run the motor up. So tighten that up, make sure there's still a little bit of clearance between the two. And then tighten this Allen key up, or the screw in some cases on other clutch motors. And that would be your adjustment for your clutch. And then of course once you finish that, then you can come down this rod here, loosen the equipment rod off in the center, pull your pedal up because we brought this lever down some. And there's your motor adjustments. Okay, next we're going to talk about take-up spring adjustments, or if you have to replace it. Here, the screw right in going into the side of the machine at this point. We'll loosen it off. Take the tension assembly out. We'll take and loosen the screw off here. Just loosen her off so we can take the insides of the tension assembly out. So the spring we're looking for. have to replace it. Drop it back in. It's down into a groove at that point. Take your assembly. Keep turning it. It's going to fall into it. Right now there's no spring at all. So then I would wind the stud up slightly. So I've got a little bit of spring. Turn around till I can find the screw. Tighten that up. Okay, next we'll put the whole assembly back in again. Just push it in. Got a little rubber on the outside of it so it gets a little bit snug at time. When it fits in there, just so the oil won't leak out. And adjust it so it's about 11 o'clock. Tighten that screw up at that point. Make sure we still got the spring on it. And that's your take-up spring adjustments. Okay, next we're going to fill a bobbin. And around the discs, I'll come across over to my bobbin. Okay, we're going to fill the bobbin. I've got it threaded. Stick the thread through the bobbin here. Come over and put it on the bobbin winder. Swing it against the belt. Okay, and snapping off in the right position. That's what this screw is for. If it's snapped off too early, I would screw it down. It's going to put more thread on the bobbin. If it's underfilled, then I'll screw the bobbin up. Get rid of it. And that would be it for your adjustments. Just so that it fills up and snaps off at the right point. Okay, next we'll thread the bobbin case up. See a little groove there. Thread it just like that. Just catch that spring. And then once you get used to using the machine, you'd be able to snap that in without even looking. If you're not used to it, tip your machine back. And there's only one spot that bobbin case will snap into. And that would be it. Next we'll thread the machine. I'll thread it off here, go down through the hole, back up through here. This isn't really all that necessary. You can bypass this if you wanted to. Okay, down through this hole, around this one. Skip the second hole. It's not necessary. Ground your tension assembly. Catch the take-up spring. It's going to work. Thread this guide here. Take-up lever. Left guide, bottom guide, and of course from left to right through your needle. And of course the needle's got a long groove on one side, and to your right would be the scarf or the cutaway. And the long groove always goes to your left, and the scarf or the cutaway above the eye of the needle goes to your right. Your threading at your top. Next we'll talk about tensions. You set your bobbin case up just so that you find just a light tug, not very much, doesn't have to be very little. And once you're happy with that, by adjusting that little tiny screw right there, counterclockwise to loosen it, clockwise to tighten it up. Once you're happy with that, snap the case back in underneath. Pick up our bottom thread. And give it a try and see what the tensions look like. And when we look at the material, we can see that it's not laying too bad. There is a little on the loose side, so I'm going to try and tighten this up just slightly. Shorten my stitch length up. And my tension should look good on the top and good on the bottom, just by increasing the top tension. If it's laying too much, in other words, if your tensions are too loose on the top, they're going to look like this. As if the camera will show it, you see loose threads all over the place. That's not tight enough on the top, so it's all going right to the bottom. So I will tighten my tension up, going clockwise. Now you can see that I'm laying fine. That's your tensions. Thanks for watching, and you can find us on the web at BridgewaterSewingCentre.com.